Hello students, this is the fifth lecture of chapter 1 electric field and charges. So we were studying the applications of Gauss's law. Two applications I have already explained. Now third application of the Gauss's law is we can calculate the electric field due to a uniformly charged thin spherical shell. So see, this is the spherical shell and it is charged by a charge Q, and the charge, this charge is uniformly distributed over this shell and it is having the surface charge density sigma. The radius of this shell is capital R and O is its center. Due to this spherical shell, we want to calculate the electric field. So depending on the position of the point at which we are calculating the electric field, we can take three cases. First, we can select this point P at which we have to calculate the electric field intensity. We can take this point at outside the spherical shell. Like in this figure, I have taken point P outside the shell. Or in the second case, we can take this observation point at the surface of the shell, and in the third case we can take this point inside the shell. In this area, at any point we can select our observation point. So first see how the surface charge density sigma is defined. The surface charge density is defined as sigma is equals to Q. Q is the charge possessing by this shell. Q is the total charge on the shell. So the total charge divided by total area of the shell. The area of the shell will be 4 pi r square, where r is its radius. So the surface charge density on the shell is defined by this formula. With the help of this formula, we can calculate the charge on the shell. That will be equal to sigma multiplied by its area 4 pi r square. So this is the charge on this shell. So if we take first case in which we are calculating the field at a point which is outside the shell, like in this case, this point is situated outside the shell. So in this case, small r means the distance of this point from the center is always greater than the radius of the shell, means r, small r is greater than the capital R. So to calculate the field at this point, I have taken a spherical Gaussian surface. This dotted line represents the Gaussian surface which is in the spherical form. By Gauss's law, we know that the total flux phi is equal to E dot ds, and which will be equal to 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed. So the electric field is uniform, so I have taken outside the integration part. So E integration of ds will be equal to q upon epsilon naught, where this integration will be over this Gaussian surface. So when we calculate the area, total area S for this surface, this will be equal to the area of the Gaussian surface. Since the radius of the Gaussian surface is small r, so its area will be 4 pi r square. 4 pi r square is its area, so E into 4 pi r square is equals to q upon epsilon naught. From this equation, we can easily calculate the electric field at point P. E is equals to q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So this is the electric field. In the vector form, we will put a vector over E and we will place a unit vector r. This unit vector will be radially outward or inward depending on the charge of the shell. If the shell is positively charged, then the electric field will be in outward direction because this will be the direction of the unit vector. If Q is negative, then the field will be inward because this inward direction will be the direction of this unit vector. So this is the electric field due to a uniformly charged spherical shell, where the value of Q is obviously sigma into 4 pi r square. That also we can put in the space of Q. By this formula, we can easily depict that this is the same field as we get due to a point charge, because the electric field due to a point charge is kq upon r square. K means what? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon r square. So this is the electric field due to a point charge. So we can say that the charge on this shell is behaving like a point charge, and it is behaving like all charge which is on the shell, on the surface of the shell, is like concentrated at its center. So this field is exactly the field produced by a point charge. So in this case is similar to the previous case in which we calculate the electric field due to a point charge. Now, in the second case, if the field we want to calculate at the surface of the shell, so in the above formula, we can put small r is equals to r, because for the surface, small r will be equal to the radius of the shell. So E is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon capital R square. In place of small r square, small r, we will put capital R. So the formula will become q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. From this formula, we are calculating it. In the place of small r, I have kept just capital R. So this field will become the field at the surface of the shell. So E is equals to q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. If we put the value of charge, total charge on the shell, that is equal to sigma into 4 pi r square, in this equation we will put this value. So we will get E is equals to sigma into 4 pi r square. This is the value of charge divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So this value will be cancelled out, r square also. So simply we will get electric field is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. So this is the value of electric field at the surface of the shell. We can write it in this form as well as in this form. Now the third case is the electric field inside the shell. In this, we will take our observation point inside this shell. This is the area inside the shell in which we can take our observation point anywhere. So for these points, obviously r, small r, will be less than capital R. So if we take point P here, this will be the value of small r, the distance of the observation point from the center, and obviously this is the radius of the shell. So if we want to draw the Gaussian surface, we will draw this sphere at which the point P is on its surface. So this dotted line represents the Gaussian surface, and this solid line, obviously it is the shell. The charge on the shell is small q. If we want to calculate the charge on the Gaussian surface, it will be different from this charge q, because this Gaussian surface is not enclosing the whole charge q. it is enclosing a less charge which is only within this area. So we will apply the Gauss's law, according to which the electric flux will be equal to integration E dot ds, which is equal to 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed. So E ds is equal to q upon epsilon naught. But for this case, the charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface is 0 because the whole charge is on the surface of the shell only, and there's no charge inside this Gaussian surface. So if the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface is 0, it means from this formula, this Gauss's law, E and the area of the Gaussian surface is 4 pi r square, which will be equal to 0 because in this case Q, the enclosed charge, is 0. So simply we will get the electric field is equal to 0. So for these points, inside points for which r is less than capital R, the electric field is 0. So if we conclude the 3 points where we calculate the electric field outside the shell, it will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon r square. At the surface, it will be equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon capital R square. And for the inside points, the electric field is 0. Now, the next fourth case is the calculation of electric field intensity due to a uniformly charged non-conducting solid sphere. So we are taking a sphere which is uniformly charged and we want to calculate the electric field due to this charged sphere. So again, if we want to calculate the electric field due to this sphere, we can take our observation point P outside the sphere, or we can take it on the surface of this sphere, or we can take this observation point inside this sphere. So again, there are 3 cases of this topic. So first case is we are calculating the electric field at a point which is situated outside the sphere. Like in this figure, we can see the point P is taken outside the sphere. This is the uniformly charged sphere and it is charged by charge Q. Its radius is capital R and small r is the distance of this observation point from the center of the sphere. So to calculate the electric field at P, we will again draw a Gaussian surface which will be a sphere. On its surface, the point P lies. So this dotted line is its Gaussian surface. So we will calculate the electric field with the help of Gauss's law, which is phi, the electric flux, is equals to integration E dot ds is equals to 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed. Since the sphere is uniformly charged, so we can take the electric field outside this integration and it will be applicable only for this surface, Gaussian surface. So E integration ds is equals to q upon epsilon naught. Again, we will put the value of ds, means the surface area of the Gaussian surface. This Gaussian surface, its radius is r, so its area will be 4 pi r square, which is equal to q upon epsilon naught. Here the enclosed charge will be equal to q because the whole charge q is coming inside the Gaussian surface. So we are taking the total charge q over here. On solving it, we will get the electric field E is equals to q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So if we see the variation of electric field with the distance r from the center of the sphere, we can depict that E is proportional to 1 upon r square, or E is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the center. Means if we are going away from the center, means if r is increasing, the electric field will decrease. So there is the inversely proportional behavior between electric field and the distance. So for the points r is greater than capital R, electric field is proportional to 1 upon r square. Now the second case is if we choose the observation point on the surface of the sphere. So for these points r will be equal to capital R. So in the previous equation we will just put capital R in place of small r. So E will be is equals to q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So this is the electric field at the surface of the sphere. The third case is that if we take the point inside the sphere, means for those points r will be less than the radius of the sphere. So if we want to calculate the electric field at inside points, see here the point P is taken inside this sphere. This is the sphere which is uniformly charged by charge Q, and this is the observation point. So to calculate the electric field at P, this will be the Gaussian surface on which P lies. So the distance of P from the center is small r and the radius of the sphere is capital R. In this case, the charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface will be obviously different from this total charge Q. So the charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface, I have taken it as Q dash. So Q dash is the charge which is enclosed only by this Gaussian surface, and that will be different from the total charge. So how we will calculate it? Now we know that the volume charge density, here we are defining the volume charge density rho. Rho is the symbol of the volume charge density. It is defined as Q, means the total charge divided by the total volume of this charged sphere. So the charge enclosed by this sphere is Q, and the volume of the sphere is 4 upon 3 pi r cube, because capital R is its radius. So in this way we can define the volume charge density, means the charge per unit volume. With the help of this volume charge density, we can calculate the charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface. The charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface, I have taken it as Q dash. So how we will calculate Q dash? To calculate it, we will multiply this volume charge density by the volume of the Gaussian surface. So this is the value of volume charge density from this formula. This is the value of volume charge density, and it will be multiplied by the volume of the Gaussian surface. The radius of the Gaussian surface is small r, so its volume will be 4 by 3 pi r cube. We will solve it. 4 by 3 pi will be cancelled out. So we will get q r cube upon capital R cube. So this is the value of Q dash, means the charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface. We will use this value in the Gauss's theorem. So this is the Gauss's theorem. Phi, the total flux, will be equal to E dot ds, and that is equal to 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed. I have taken here the charge enclosed as q dash because the Gaussian surface is only enclosing the charge q dash. So we will put the value of q dash from this equation, and we will put the value of area of this Gaussian surface. So what we will get? We will get E into area of the surface, Gaussian surface, 4 pi r square is equal to this value of q. This is the value of q. Q dash means q r cube upon capital R cube. This is the value of q dash divided by epsilon naught. On solving it, we will get E is equals to q small r upon 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. From this expression, if we want to relate the electric field with the distance from the center, we can see that electric field is always proportional to the distance. So for the inner points, the electric field is directly proportional to the distance from the center of the sphere. Means E is proportional to R for the points R is less than capital R. So if we combine all the three cases and we want to see the variation of electric field with the distance, we can easily conclude it from this graph, in which the distance is taken on x-axis and the electric field is taken on y-axis. So for the inner points, means for R is less than capital R points, the electric field is directly proportional to R. Means if the distance is increasing, the electric field will also increase, and it will increase up to R is equals to capital R. Means at the surface of the sphere, the value of electric field will be maximum, and that will be equal to kq upon capital R square. But as we move away from the surface points, means for the points for which R is greater than capital R, the electric field starts to fall from this value, and the electric field will start decreasing because electric field is inversely proportional to R square. So if R is increasing, electric field is decreasing. So this is the variation of electric field with the distance from the surface of the sphere for a uniformly charged sphere. So in this way, I have finished this first chapter of electrostatics, electric field and charges. We will be meeting in the next lecture with the second chapter.